Numbers don't lie, but the suits sure do. They printing that paper while you chasing what's due. Ledger got no borders, can't fake what's true. Digital escape hatch, I'm breaking through. Blindfolds tight, but my vision stay clear. System rig heavy, still I persevere. Centralized puppets, man, they pulling them strings. I'm out here stacking sets while they sell you false kings. Decentralized dreams, we breaking the seams. Freedom ain't free, but I'm chasing the means. Blockchain the truth, no shadow regimes. Decentralized dreams, yeah, decentralized dreams. Fiat's a leash and they got us on choke. Inflation's a virus, whole system's a joke. Gold got heavy so they turned it to smoke. Now I hold private keys, ain't no chains on my throat. Bank runs coming, man, the writing's on walls. Bailouts for the rich, crumbs for us all. But code don't lie, it's trustless and raw. They fear what they can't own, so they outlaw. 21 million, the people's decree. Math over muscle, that's financial decree. No middleman tax and my wallet stay free. Numbers don't lie, but the suits sure do. They printing that paper while you chasing what's due. Ledger got no borders, can't fake what's true. Digital escape hatch, I'm breaking through. Blindfolds tight, but my vision stay clear. System rigged heavy, still I persevere. Centralized puppets, man, they pulling them strings. I'm out here stacking sats while they sell you false kings. Decentralized dreams, we breaking the seams. Freedom ain't free, but I'm chasing the means. No shadow regimes. Decentralized dreams, yeah, decentralized dreams. Fiat's a leash and they got us on choke. Inflation's a virus, whole system's a joke. Gold got heavy so they turned into smoke. Now I hold private keys, ain't no chains on my throat. Bank runs coming, man, the writing's on walls. Bailouts for the rich, crumbs for us all. But code don't lie, it's trustless and raw. They fear what they can't own, so they outlaw. 21 million, the people's decree. Math over muscle, that's financial decree. No middleman tax and my wallet stay free. 21 million. 21 million. 21 million. Numbers don't lie, but the suits sure do. They printing that paper while you chasing what's due. Ledger got no borders, can't fake what's true. Digital escape hatch, I'm breaking through.
Step 1, wake up early, gon' ride the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning, a little less early, but still early, into some financial freedom. I'm glad to be back at my normal time. I got time for me in the morning, and I also got time for everyone else. So we are seeing a little bit of some news here this morning. The SEC dropping some news on some altcoin ETFs. We'll dive on to that one in just a second. But we're also seeing a little bit of some sell-off in the pre-market this morning. So let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success today. You know what I got pulled up in the background. It's that stock heat map, and we did see a little bit of a mixed market yesterday. A little bit of green, a little bit of red, no different than what we're looking at on the crypto side of things today. But this morning, looking like quite a bit of red in the pre-market. We've got Apple down 0.39%. We've got Nvidia, just switched from some red to some green, sitting up 0.09%. We got Berkshire Hathaway down 0.24. We got Amazon, just switched from red to neutral, sitting with no change on the board. We got Eli Lilly down 0.24%. ExxonMobil down 0.02. We've got Tesla down 1.1%. P&G sitting up 0.12. We've got Microsoft down 0.22, Google sitting down 0.19, and Meta sitting down 0.11. Things were a little heavier in the red a little bit earlier. We are seeing a little bit of some relief right now. We'll just have to wait to see if that continues into the day. On the crypto side of things, we got some big red bubbles over here. Hype looking like it's seeing a little bit of some upside movements in the market right now. Was sitting down 5% though. We do have Bitcoin up 0.7, Ethereum also up 0.7. We've got XRP down 0.6, BNB up 0.1, Solana down 0.1. We've got Dogecoin up or down 0.4. Tron sitting up 8%. It was in the red while everything else was in the green the other day. We got Cardano down 0.8. Chainlink losing a spot in the market cap to a stable token, up 1.1, while Avalanche takes a spot in the market cap, up 0.2. We've got Hyperliquid losing a spot in the market cap, down 2.8. We've got Stellar Lumens down 0.3. We've got Shui down 0.7. Bitcoin Cash up 0.2. HBAR down 0.4. We've got Leo token also sitting down 0.4. And Litecoin to wrap out that top 20 sitting down 0.4. For those fear and greed meters, we're still looking quite neutral on the stock side. You know, not getting any crazy moves in either direction. We do have some jobs data we need to keep our eyes out for, and kind of waiting to see what the consensus is going to be on some rate cuts, because that'll really give things a push in one direction or another. On the crypto side of things, still sitting at neutral, no change on that board, 50, and we've got quite a bit of liquidity that was sitting on both sides of us. We did get that nice little dip back down to grab some of that liquidity that was directly below us. But we've still got a lot here sitting at $115,000 all the way up to $115,300. So a nice little area directly above us to come up and grab some liquidity at. We still have a little bit sitting at that 3-day as well, which is way down here at $108,000. That is an area that is still of some interest to me if we don't get some data to really keep us moving towards the upside, have people lean in towards some rate cuts. Zooming on out, I know that a 2-week hasn't been working for him, so getting over to this 1 month, you can kind of see we are bare in our current sideways range, but we do still have liquidity down here at 106,000, and then there's still some up at 120 as well. So those are those two extremes to kind of keep your eye on. That bottom side coming in line with a level we've talked about over and over, and we will get to that in just a second. But we did have that economic calendar to take a look at. We got that chat flying this morning. I guess just a little bit of a later start is a whole lot better. We got a little more viewers than normal. So let's see what we got going on here for today's data drop. Scrolling on up just a little bit here. We've got some data coming out this morning on the housing side of things, housing price index, the S&P Schiller case home price year over year as well. That'll be coming out at 9 a.m. Not too big of a market mover, looking like a little bit of a decrease on that house that home price year over year, not too unexpected. We have been seeing the trend on the housing market slowing down just a little bit, houses staying on the market for longer, selling for a little bit less as well. So we'll kind of have to see if we can get that jobs data to really move the market. That'll be coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure to tune into the Piper Academy at 10 a.m. Piper will be breaking down that data, looking like a little bit of an increase on that JOLTS job opening. Not the direction you really want to head, but we'll kind of have to see if that comes out on forecast of 7.2 million or if we come in a little less hot. Not a massive move towards the upside, but still a move towards the upside there. A little bit later in the day, I believe we had a few Fed chairs speaking. Yep, there we go. Fed Goolsby at 1:30 p.m. We've also got Fed Logan speaking at 7:10 p.m. So I will be making sure to tune into those as well. We have been seeing a little bit of a consensus across the board that they believe things are moderately restrictive with how inflation has been looking. They are well above that 2% target, and to cut a little bit further might cause that inflation to get a little more rampant. So keep your eyes on those speeches as well. And that CME Fed Watch tool. Let's get this Bitcoin chart zoomed on out to that daily. Say good morning to the people in the chat, because we had several people sign on in here a little bit early. We had Ada Ace first in the chat today. We got Steve Hickey in here as well. Good morning to both of you. Let's see. Ada having some fun on Cornucopias. If you're not following his channel, you definitely should be. I'm sure someone will drop that link in the chat in just a second here. We've got Crypto Billy in the chat as well. He had his morning motivational video over on his channel. If you're not following, you definitely should be. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Donato Cabrera. We got Jesse Gluck. We got All Set in here as well. Good morning to all of you. Let's see who else we got. We got Aiko in the chat. We got K Diggity as well. Good morning to the both of you. Let's see who else. We got Jay in the chat, sliding in with some coffee cups. Well, cheers to you. I got my coffee already. The second cup of the day, which is a whole lot better than normal. Normally, I'm like making my way through the first cup when I was going live before. So a little more prepared today. We got Offshore Miner in the chat as well. Good morning to you. We got Dutchie in here and Melissa. Good morning, good morning. Buck saying $800 soon. Just wait and see. Maybe not. I'm going to lean towards maybe not, because if you've been looking at that link chart, it's just a little bit off of like even $100, not even close to those all-time highs. Let's see who else we got in here. That looks like it's it for the morning. Good morning to all you lurkers in the background as well. If you got any alt requests you'd like me to take a look at, we'll dive into this Bitcoin chart. And then I did have a few things I wanted to talk about. One of those projects I've been talking about for quite a while on the nuclear side of things, looking like it might not be a bad take profit level. So we will dive into that one as well. But let's get into this Bitcoin chart, because that's why y'all are here, and then hear a little bit about that news. So a little bit of coffee, and let's dive on in here. We did talk about a resistance level directly towards the upside. We had a few of those to kind of keep our eye on. That was going to be the CME gap for the first one. That was coming in at the bottom side of that CME gap. We did get that push into the CME gap. 113 of 500 was neither support or resistance there. We did get that nice strong move below it. We did get that nice little rejection off of what was some support back here directly under the midline of the CME gap. And now we're waiting to see if we come all the way back down to 11,000. 11,800 here. That is our nice bottom area of our sideways channel. Once we broke into these new all-time highs at 120,000, we're kind of waiting to see if we hold that up as support all over again here. We're seeing a little bit more bottoming signals here on our daily. We are getting some sideways momentum with that MACD, waiting to see if we can get that nice strong break above our indicator line and get that movement in above that zero line. That'll need to come with some money flow there. That's what we were talking about yesterday, and watching some of that shorter term time frame money flow, see if we can get it to bleed over into that higher time frame, because this daily money flow still looking a little bit red here. We are trying to get that break above our zero line and come in with some green money flow and give us a little bit of momentum here. We are getting some nice bottoming indicators here on that daily time frame after that move down to 108 here, looking like a little bit of a higher low. But if this was our high here, that is still a lower high. So definitely looking like we could restrict a little bit more. I would like to see us hold up at that 11,800 price point. We are getting that nice curvature on the prime oscillator as well, so keeping our eye on some money flow as we get a little bit closer to that 11,800 would be that kind of move to watch for here. We do have that 4 hour looking like it hit that nice strong resistance as well. Money flow barely got into the green there. Didn't get some nice big body candles that we were hoping for to really bleed into that higher term time frame. We did get that nice resistance at 114,800, and then that strong move back towards the downside. We're seeing that money flow also get that curvature back down. Prime oscillator getting that curvature back down with a reversal signal and a lot of overbought signals flashing. So we could cool off just a little bit more here, get that nice liquidity sweep, which we had talked about yesterday, and we're waiting to see if we can hold price back up at one of those key support levels here. We're getting that curvature on the MACD, but if we can get some money flow coming on in here back down at 111,800 area, then we can get that nice sideways momentum instead of a full curvature on that oscillator there. Taking a look at that 1 hour, we are seeing a little bit of some hopium coming on the day on this day, as we are starting to see that bottoming indicator on that prime oscillator. Money flow still in the green for now, and that MACD getting some sideways momentum. So we would look to see if we can get that pushback up towards 113,500, and then see if we project from that price point, or if we can at least hold that up as support there. I'm favoring a little bit of a stronger move to the downside, as we do have all of this area coming in as an area you might see some bouncing at. That was coming in at about 112,500. Might get another little stab it along there. That 15-minute still looking a little bit oversold, but that money flows heavily in the red here, and we're struggling to make some higher lows after this strong move back into the CME gap. So seeing a little bit of some sell off after a massive 2.5% move towards the upside. Not too unexpected here, and we were talking about that move towards the upside and a pullback down to 11,800 the other day. So that is that bottom side of the range. To see us hold that here does give me a little bit of some hope. Let's see if we got any alt requests to drop on the list there. Not seeing anything. Let's see what we got here. I have this coffee of the future stuff where it's concentrated white powder coffee. Oh my goodness, y'all are some absolute degens. K Diggity almost had me read the full thing there. This is not the 80s anymore, sir. We don't do that. Okay, let's see, we got AVNT being requested. Let me get this all zoomed in here, because this was some big news that I saw. Everyone's been banking on these ETFs to give us an alt season. I've talked about it more than a few times. If you really want to see your money flow into some of these alts, you would need to see these ETFs really getting launched, and that because that's how TradFi and retail have been coming into the crypto space. They got screwed last cycle extremely hard with the collapse of FTX. They're looking a little bit into crypto's history, and they've seen collapses over and over and over again, and it doesn't really lead them to want to go the traditional route in the crypto space. Instead, they'd rather pay a bank to hold the project for them so that they don't have to worry so much. And looks like the SEC is going to make that a little bit easier to launch an ETF. They did tell everyone to withdraw their 19b-4s, which is the form needed to launch an ETF. They told LTC, XRP, Solana, ADA, and Doge ETFs to withdraw their 19b-4 forms. So diving on in here, looking like they might have an expedited process for them. The SEC has requested issuers to withdraw their 19b-4 ETF filings for Litecoin, XRP, Solana, Cardano, and Dogecoin following the agency's approval of generic listing standards for crypto asset exchange-traded products. The new generic listings standards eliminate the need for individual 19b-4 filings that were previously required for each cryptocurrency ETF proposal. The SEC designed these rules to provide a stable platform for crypto product introductions while including innovation exemptions to foster on-chain capital market development. The financial firms that submitted the specific ETF applications for these cryptocurrencies can now utilize the streamlined generic standards instead of pursuing individual regulatory approvals. The change aims to reduce regulatory hurdles and expedite market introduction for crypto ETFs. The regulatory shift comes as the SEC prepares joint rulemaking with CFTC to harmonize crypto regulations across agencies. The collaboration includes an upcoming joint roundtable focused on regulatory coordination for digital assets. I'll be keeping my eyes on this story as it progresses. The SEC hasn't always been favorable to crypto. On its face, this sounds a little bit worrisome to crypto, but, Donald Trump did make that new agency, the CFTC, to handle specifically crypto. They were supposed to come up with guidelines for crypto projects to get launched in your traditional markets, and it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. They're telling the SEC, get out of here with your nonsense and over-regulating the crypto markets, and let crypto be free to traditional people in a little bit of an easier access route. So definitely a little bit of a fan here. If they can get this done in time, you might see some of these alts, the dinosaur alts, really get that nice strong move towards the upside. If they can't get it done in time, then you might be looking at a little less harsh bear market for some of these projects like Litecoin, like Solana, like Doge, like XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. They might have a little bit less harsh bear market. So just depends on when they can get these approvals done here. We did have AVNT being requested, so can get that one done here in just a second. Not seeing any other alt requests though. I guess y'all are all set. Saying coin high time frames. Well, we can take a look at that one as well. Let me get that one on the list. So coin. I'm assuming you're talking about the stock there, or you might be talking about a crypto project. So just let me know. Eminem, what are y'all talking about there? JR Sound, oh, that's what you're talking about there. Okay, well, we did see the dollar making some moves back above an area we've been wanting to see hold. We didn't get above our local resistance though. That was coming in at $98.98.7, looking like it's getting a little bit of a pullback to a level we've talked about over and over and over here, and that's 97.72. Looking to see if we can hold that for now. Higher time frames looking a little bit iffy there, so definitely looking like you could see some continued sell-off on the dollar here, but we've got some nice support down at 96.37. So a little area to kind of watch for the dollar. See if we can get that continued hold up down here at 96.37. That has been our nice support range for now, and we will kind of have to see if we can continue to get this nice consolidated price action below our golden pocket, allow for some cool off on the higher term time frames, because if you zoom this on out a little bit more, that weekly starting to look a little bit nice on a move towards the upside here as we continue to move a little sideways. We are getting a little bit overheated on the prime oscillator. That MACD does look like you could see a little cool off with some sideways momentum, get that nice move back sideways and down below our indicator line here. Let me get that drawing tool all pulled up. We got that nice sideways momentum coming on in. Would like to see us consolidate a little bit more so it cools that off and then really allows you for that stronger move back above our golden pocket there. So for now, dollar's still looking a little bit weak there. We've got Alexandra G in here. It's been a while since you've been able to tune in to one of my morning shows, so glad that I was able to push that time back so that you can join as well. We had World Mobile Token requested by Ada Ace. We can take a look at that as well. WMTX, got it on the list there. All right, I did want to talk about a project I've been talking about for quite a while. Nuclear starting to look a little bit toppy. I talked about UCLA a while ago. They got some nice strong moves towards the upside here after a nice little bounce off of that golden pocket fib extension. As you can see here, they blasted through the 1618, they blasted through the 2618, and they saw a little bit of resistance at the 3382. So definitely an area that comes in as some resistance over and over again. That's why I've got it marked out on my fib extension levels here. We are seeing a little bit of a pull back into our CME gap. We're trying to hold the bottom side right now, but this daily is looking extremely toppy here. As you can see, we are seeing a little bit of some curvature, trying to pull some sideways momentum in here. I would watch to see if we don't hold the bottom side of that CME gap coming in at 111.44, because if we don't hold that, we've got a little bit of a movement towards the downside there. I would take profits if we break outside of that CME gap and look for a lower entry. That's kind of the move I've been watching for. We are seeing that midline come in as some resistance. So definitely been waiting to see if I get a lower entry point or if we can close the CME gap. Daily looking toppy. We've got that 4 hour also breaking towards the bottom side, but seeing a little bit of sideways momentum come in does lead for a little bit of some hopium and the potential for the closing of that CME gap up at the top side, looking at $131 there. So that's that little area I'd kind of keep my eye on. If that midline comes in as resistance over and over again, seeing that price constrict between 121 and 111 would be the move to watch for. We did have that hourly also looking a little bit like you could see some hopium coming our way. You've got that nice strong sideways momentum coming in, your money flow nice and cooled off here, and your volume is extremely low. So we're really just waiting to see where people want to start entering at, or if we lose the bottom side of that CME gap and you see that harsher correction towards the downside there. Looking like that pre-market's opening up to try to close this CME gap right now, and then we will see if we can get that push back towards the upside and close out the bigger CME gap. I did see SMR talked about there. That is also on my portfolio list. I've been holding it for quite a while, and looking like not a bad time to see a little bit of sell off. You know, we did get that nice strong move towards the upside here. We did get that push back towards our top side of our fib extension here after we rejected off of that 1618. We did want to see 3380 hold up. It has held up quite nicely. Looking a little bit toppy on the daily though. You're getting that break towards the downside here on that MACD, and you're printing those very light green candles here on the histogram, and that prime oscillator also pointing towards the downside. Zooming on out to that weekly, you're also seeing all of that toppiness there. We did get some massive moves towards the upside. I was talking about it way back here in March. So if you got that entry down there and to our current price point, 230% move towards the upside. If you were able to cash out up here when I was talking about it the other day, a 324% move towards the upside. So to see a little bit of some sell off after that, not too unexpected there. I did take some partial profits on my position, still holding some for the long term, but we've got this support line way down here to kind of keep your eye on if we can't hold some of these levels in between here and there. So first level I'd kind of keep my eye on is the golden pocket and our CME gap way down at 2730. So that's SMR for you, making some lower highs, looking a little bit toppy on those higher term time frames. So that was OKLO and SMR. Let's see what we got going on for a coin, AVNT, and for World Mobile Token there. I believe you were wanting coin here. So we can dive into coins chart real quick and then get to those other alt requests. I think we got time for a few more. It is only 6:12 and I got about 15 more minutes. So if y'all have any alt requests, let me know and we will dive on into that. I didn't get into that Bitcoin long yesterday. I set a limit order a little below our current price action. We wicked within like $80 of that entry point, and then got that strong move towards the upside. So if y'all have a project I should look at for a potential trade today as a community, let me know, and we will try to get that trade going today. So keep your eye out on some projects there. Let's see what we got for some coin. This weekly is looking nice and cooled off here. You're seeing that MACD getting some curvature back towards the upside here. Prime oscillator is trying to cool that off with our current sideways momentum. These are weekly candles here, so I do like to take a look at a little bit of a higher term time frame before we dive in here and then see what's going on. So we are still making higher lows. We do have these nice equal lows at the golden pocket there. We've got that 236 being held up quite nicely. We got Holo. Never heard of that one before, but let's see if we got the time for it. And then Kato as well. Probably not going to take a trade on either of those. We like to stick within that top 20. So if y'all got some top 20 projects to take a trade on, let me know and we will get that done before the show ends. We do have this daily looking a little nice for some continuation towards the upside here. We've got that MACD line getting that move back above our zero line here. We did get that nice brief red candle here, and now we're starting to print some green ones. We do have this CME gap to contend with. That is going to be our first area of battle as we're trying to get that money flow back in some green here. So let's zoom this on in, take a look at this hourly, see how that CME gap might react for us. we did get this nice sideways consolidation range under our CME gap. We got to move back up towards the top side of what was our fib retracement levels, and then we got that harsh rejection off of it. We're waiting to see if we have enough cool off here to really get that break into our CME gap. Looks like market's going to open up a little bit lower right now, and we are seeing a little bit of some topping signals here on the hourly, but that daily does look like it can continue towards the upside there. So waiting to see if this money flow on the hourly holds up in the green, as that volume is really starting to pick up here. So we got LTC and Link for some and ADA for some requests for a trade there. So y'all let me know. I will start a poll there. We got LTC, we've got ADA, we've got Link, or of course we can take a trade on some Bitcoin. So those are those three projects to kind of take, those four projects to kind of take a trade on today. All right, coin looking like you could see that break into the CME gap if that daily money flow gets boosted towards the upside with some of this money flow here on the shorter term time frame. Does look like you could see a little bit of a pullback there, as you are seeing the toppiness here, but it's maintaining that green because that money flow is also maintaining the green there. So 15 minutes looking nice and constricted as well underneath that CME gap. We are seeing that sideways momentum coming in with the MACD, and that prime oscillator does have a little bit of a bearish divergence, but with that opening up towards the bottom side, could definitely get that move back towards the upside, and that bearish divergence have played out in the pre-market there. We got Sean Behringer in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. Meeting one Florin talking about one of my favorite projects there, INJ. It's been a while since I've taken a look at it, so we might have to get that one going on another day there. So coin, I would look for the CME gap to be broken back into. That's 334.95, and then we will have to see if we can make our way back to that midline coming in at 355. We've got a lot of price constriction underneath it, really waiting to see if it's cooled off those oscillators enough to get back towards that midline. We have a lot of resistance in the CME gap, so a few levels to contend with there. And we had AVNT, took a look at that yesterday. We did call out a price point to keep your eye on. I believe it was on the Coinbase chart there. Wrong one. AVNT, which one was it on? Binance? No. Goodness, I'm going to have to save that chart now. Bybit? Nope. AVNT on, let's see, I know it was on one of these. We called out a level yesterday. Was it on the, well, the level we talked about yesterday was 115 and 105. Would it get that move directly towards that? I'm going to have to find that other chart that I have all of my drawings saved on, but we're definitely at the bottoming levels here. Hopefully, let's see, AVNT, was it the perpetuals? Nope, whatever. I'm just going to leave it here. This did have a little more history though, so we'll go off of that, get that trend-based fib extension drawn up here from lows to the high, to our lows there. We had that 236 coming in as some resistance. That is what we had talked about the other day as well, getting that move below the 236 on our fib extension, seeing that 236 come in as some resistance, and then we called out some price points directly below that. That was at 105. That is where we got our support. That was support before we got that strong move towards the upside there. Now we're waiting to see if we cooled off everything enough to get that strong move back above the 236 here. That 236 coming in at $1.24. So that's that next real area to kind of keep your eye on. We are nice and cooled off on the higher term time frame here on AVNT. That MACD starting to get that curvature. Prime oscillator really starting to show those bottoming indicators as well. You've got a reversal signal, two bullish divergences stacked up, a bottoming peak seeker has flashed, and another reversal signal as well. So really waiting to see if we can get it back above the 236 to get that stronger move back towards the upside there. We would have some resistance at $1.34 to kind of keep your eye on as well if you get back above that 236. So those are those few levels I'd kind of keep my eye on. That first level being $1.24, as we're looking like this could be a little bit of a bottom. We do have an area directly below us at 99.25 to kind of keep your eye on if we can't hold our current price point and we do get a little more sell-off there. Caliphant in the chat this morning. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. All right, let's see what we got. Looks like Bitcoin's winning the poll for now. We got 13 votes in, and coming in second place, ADA and Link are tied with 8% going for Litecoin. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Redmond in the chat. Good morning to you. We started a little bit later, so now we got some of those old watchers coming back in here. So glad to see y'all back in the chats. We do have a few lurkers in the background, and good morning to all of you as well. All right, we had World Mobile Token for ADA Ace, WMTX. I believe we were looking at it on this one here because it has the most price history. Well, looks like we got that move back to the 236 that we had talked about. Let's see what this daily is looking like. Daily looking a little bit cooled off here on that prime oscillator. Starting to see that sideways momentum coming in. Would like to see some money flow coming our way here. Does look like you are still making those lower highs, trying to contend with the lows there. So might see that bounce still at 20 cents. That is an area that we've talked about a few times here for World Mobile Token. We do have the support back here from the high at 21.5 cents. That is where we got our bouncing action off of here. But 23 cents still coming in as some resistance. So definitely looking like things are restricting just a little bit here. And we would like to see that nice little sweep of liquidity below things before we really get that stronger move towards the upside here. Hourly is looking a little bit toppy, a little bit bottomy. Sorry about that. We are getting that break below our zero line here on the MACD. That indicator line and MACD line both breaking below that zero line here as you're printing those very big red candles, but it's doing so with price action being nice and consolidated here. So looking for that continued consolidation for now to see if we get that break back to 20 cents, which would sweep all of the liquidity from this area and then get that move back up to 23 cents and our local resistance. Let's see what that 15-minute in the morning might bring our way. 15-minute does look like you could see a little bit of a push back towards the upside there. We do have this local range at about 22-ish. 22.9 to contend with. So it is consolidating quite heavily here. You did have this a broader range. You got that sweep of liquidity, and now your range is a little bit shorter here. So nice and consolidated. We are seeing a little bit of some local resistance come in over and over again, but you could see that move and break towards the downside, towards that 20-cent range, which we've talked about before, and then that would really give you that nice strong momentum to push back towards that 236 up at 24 cents there. All right, World Mobile Token, we had Holo requested never taken a look at that. We'll do a quick look and then see. We got Bitcoin still winning the show. You know, that's my favorite project to trade there. So I'm liking the votes for today. Never looked at Holo before. 15 minutes. Let's 15-minute looking a little bit bottomy there. Massive sell-off on it. Oh, dang. Nice and consolidated at least. So I guess we'll zoom this back on in, see what we're looking at for our current levels here. Because nice and consolidated. I don't know anything about this project. It is holding up that $5 range quite nicely here. Micro Cloud Hologram. I guess this is a stock here. We would need to break some of these levels directly above us. 592. That'd be that first area I would kind of keep my eye on for a switch of trend there. But we are making some higher lows here. So 421 is that solid low. And then I would wait to kind of see if we can get that move back above 595 there with our fib retracement tool. Let's find some levels here. Looking like that platinum pocket is our holdup point. So waiting to see if we can really get that bounce back up off of that platinum pocket as that came in as some support. Let's see what that hourly is looking like here. Hourly is just starting to catch some momentum there. So looking like that MACD breaking above that indicator line, starting to print some green candles here. We are getting a little bit of sideways momentum on that prime oscillator, but you got a nice bullish divergence stacked up here. So first area I'd kind of look to contend with would be that $5.43 on the shorter term time frame, and then see if we can get that move back towards the upside. I think Holo randomly pumped to the moon last year, and now people are trying to catch the next one like GMC. Oh, well, you know, it was requested. I thought I'd take a look at it. You know, never played too much G-Gen on the stock side. I like those long-term moves there. Whoa, Redman went there. Yeah, Bitcoin over gold. Hey, not a bad call out there. I do like Bitcoin, and I do like gold. Redman saying the same thing. I have both, and I have both as well. So definitely not a bad move there. You know, looking for a little bit of safety as some of the metrics that we're getting on the data kind of say that you should be looking at a little bit of safety. So let's take a look at Cato, and then I guess we're going to be trading on Bitcoin. We've got 50% voting for Bitcoin and 25% for Link. Looks like ADA has fallen off there. Cato, oh, what? This symbol doesn't exist. That's bullcrap. There it is. You liar. Cato does exist. All right, let's get this zoomed out to the daily. See what we're looking like. Looks like a nice higher low came in. We do have some local resistance to kind of contend with here. Let's see what we're looking like on about that 4 hour to see our better levels to kind of call out here. We're in a little bit of an uptrend. Would like to see things continue. Let's see what we're sitting on here for a fib extension level. See where that trend might send us next. Looks like that golden pocket came in as some resistance. Could potentially see that 236 and bounce first. We did have that peak seeker on the shorter term time frame. Anything but USD. No, hey, you know, I didn't request it. You know, Jesse's been a little bit of a degen recently. So we do have some current levels that are holding up as some support. That was our equal candle bodies right there. On that 4 hour, coming in at $1.44. Nice strong support level for now. If we break below that with how things are looking like on the on this 4 hour, that MACD getting the curvature, prime oscillator getting the curvature, money flow starting to slow down just a little bit here, could definitely see that stronger move towards the downside there. You have about $1.38 being an interesting price point below the 236 if we lose that there. So that'd be that first kind of area I would watch for, the $1.38 price point. See if we can get that hold up of price there to make that move back towards the upside, because we do have that peak seeker on the 4-hour there. We've got this hourly coming in with a little bit of sideways momentum on the MACD, but that money flow just starting to break into the red here. So we got current support at $1.44 that is looking like it could break if we continue to see that money flow breaking into the red there. 15-minute and the morning, we're still in a little bit of a downtrend here, as you see, making those lower highs and lower lows. We're really waiting to see if that money flow gets that curvature back up. See if we get that nice triple bottom here on 144, or if that higher time frame really comes in as a sell-off there. BC, what's a peak seeker? So let me get that zoomed back on out toward the 4-hour. If you have these blue dots here on your prime oscillator, that is normally the peak seeker. It is showing that we might have topped out on that time frame. So that one came in as we lost that 50% line there. So a little bit of a move down, 4 hours showing that peak seeker. If it's on the bottom side, we saw that over here. That is a bottoming indicator. Doesn't always come in as 100% there. You know, we did continue with that sell off for a little bit of time after that bottoming indicator, but yeah, definitely looking like you could see a little more sell-off on Cato. But it is 6:31, and I gotta head out the door, get to work. So thank you for everyone for tuning on in. We had a few viewers over on X, so appreciate y'all for tuning on in as well. I hope y'all got something from today. Make sure to trade safe, because we do have some jobs data coming out a little bit later that might shake up the markets. Tune into those Fed chair speeches, or just tune into me tomorrow and I'll break it on down for you. So appreciate every single one of you. Tune into the rest of the shows here on the Piper Academy. We got 2 other shows. We've got that morning market report at 10 a.m. for the breakdown of your data, and trading with OC for all of you later night folk than I am. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's a great place to have some fun and do some trading. So I hope to see y'all at the next one. Make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.